Hey everybody and welcome to the Encyclopedia. In this video, I'm going to address my claim that a 787-9 Dreamliner is more efficient than a Prius Hybrid. I've made a short a week ago saying that this is true because of a variety of reasons, and that a big plane is much more efficient than a small compact car. I'm going to explain why in this video, so stay tuned. The whole concept is carpooling. That's right, a simple word called carpooling. You know, back in the day, or even now, well, not now obviously, but people used to say it's better to carpool. The reason is simple: you reduce your environmental impact. A car's efficiency doesn't change, alright? I'm not talking about perceived efficiency, I'm talking about the whole car itself. No matter which car you have, it's not going to change in terms of just adding people, it's not going to reduce. It's going to reduce a little bit due to the weight, and if they carry luggage, then it's going to reduce even a little bit more. So, the concept is simple. You have 5 people traveling a certain distance in one car, as opposed to 5 people traveling in 5 different cars to the same destination from the same starting point, meaning that the same distance. So now you have a scenario where the pollution caused by all of the cars is multiplied by 5. So if all the people were in one car, the pollution would have reduced by 5, and your actual economy is actually improved because all these people don't go around burning gas that is not really required. So in terms of a car, you can imagine that most people would solo their car. That means that one person drives the car, and sometimes two. Obviously not during the time of the pandemic, but on a normal day, most people drive their car on their own because they may have workplaces in different areas, so carpooling isn't efficient. That's why people say ride the bus. Now let's get to the jet. A jet is most profitable when it's full, meaning that when everybody's on the plane and the plane takes off with a weight that's close to the maximum takeoff weight. It means that it's accommodated as many people as it can fit, and it's carrying as much luggage as it can carry. That means it's going to make the most amount of money. And if there's 300 people on one jet, let's assume, and all have a sort of a short trip, and they pay $100 for the ticket, then what happens is the airline makes around $40,000, right? Because of, the ticket and some other fees here and there. So around $40,000. Now the thing is, if the airline took half as many people, they're going to make $20,000, but the airplane still flew. Means that the flight hours, the amount of time that the airplane spent flying in the air is counted. It doesn't matter how much weight it's carrying. It's still flying. The engines are still spooled up and they're spinning. That's what's important, because the maintenance schedule for an aircraft, it's always set by the manufacturer. So that's important. It doesn't matter how many people fly the plane. Even if nobody's flying the plane, the flight hours are still counted. The manufacturer recommends a maintenance policy that must be strictly adhered to. Otherwise, the airline is going to get hit with a lot of fines, and it's also not safe because you have to maintain the parts. The engine is a freaking $23 million part that's ultra complex, all right? And if people don't maintain the engine, it could stop working, and that's not a good thing, especially if it stops working in midair. Now, let's get to the fun part. The turbo machinery is inherently more efficient than piston engines, and that adds to the whole, efficiency percentage. And if you notice carefully, when I said turbo machine, I'm talking about a turbojet engine. Nowadays, everyone uses turbofan engines, which are even more efficient. The higher the bypass ratio, which means the volume of air going through the core, the turbojet part of the turbofan, and the volume of air going around the core, and the ratio between that is important because most of the thrust generated by the engine is from the bypass, and 80 to 90% of the thrust is the bypass thrust. So the bypass ratio is very important. You can't get the core too small, otherwise it's not going to spin the fan fast enough. You can't have it too large, otherwise it's going to be too big and there's not going to be enough bypass. So overall, you can see that a turbofan engine is super efficient, especially with the composites engineering that GE has going on with their engines. One more thing that makes jet engines super efficient is the fact that they burn fuel completely, which is really important because if you look at a car engine, it has an exhaust. It's got 2 catalytic converters, a pre-catalytic converter that works during cold starts, and a main catalytic converter. A jet engine does not need catalytic converters. If you notice a jet engine taking off, there's a brief moment of time, there's maybe a little bit of black smoke, a trace amount of black smoke, and after that, no black smoke at all. Yeah, but for a car, if you take the exhaust manifold off, it's going to be sputtering black smoke like crazy, because a normal IC engine, usually to prevent the engine from knocking, it burns the fuel in a rich mixture, meaning that there's more fuel that can be burned. So most cars are around 12 to 13 to 1 combustion ratio, and the ideal stoichiometric ratio is 14.7 to 1. Jet engines burn with a lot of air, so therefore they are always at or more than the required stoichiometric ratio. No need of catalytic converters, and that huge fan makes them ultra efficient. So yeah, pretty much that's how it works. Next time, either take a bus or carpool if you want to save the environment. Also, to those people who have subscribed to my channel after that short video, thank you so much, and I hope you like the channel too, because more awesome videos are going to come up. And yeah, to those who haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. You can watch the other playlists. There's a lot of cool, crazy stuff going on in my channel, and it's only going to get better. So yeah, stay tuned for another video.